Right then, people, we're back inside the building. Just gone 5 minutes past 9 here. We are live on the line with today's very special guest as we enter interview hour here on Breakfast with KXVU. Man like Cimm is in the building. How are you doing, sir?
I'm very well, brother. How are you, man?
I'm good. I'm very good indeed. It's good to have you on the show. I've been looking forward to this one for a hot minute. Obviously, I've been following the work you do in regards to the music you've been making over the last sort of 18 months or so. I've been seeing every release that pops up on Juno of yours seems to land in my pile, so I get the pleasure of reviewing a lot of your stuff quite regularly. So to get you on the shows, it's really good, man. Thanks for joining us.
Amazing, brother. Yeah, thank you so much.
No worries at all, man. Well, we've got a lot of stuff to kind of talk through. First of all, before we get into a sort of bit of backstory and a bit of history from yourself, let's talk about this this tune that we opened up today's listing with, which was Grape Lime Ricky. First of all, where does the name come from on this one?
It comes from a certain type of plant that I acquired through my life at some point.
Okay, fair enough. I'm sure that's nice and clear for everyone locked in. Kind of moving forward then, obviously, well, backwards, I suppose. I want to kind of get a bit of history on yourself, because over the last sort of 18, 24 months, you seem to have really kind of skyrocketed in regards to the labels you're working with, the releases you're putting out there. What do you think it was that kind of that made this mega push for yourself happen?
I think it was just like meeting a lot of people and just sort of getting involved with what they're doing. I think before I started making tunes, I did a lot of design work for a lot of labels, like for their vinyls and sort of that sort of stuff. And I think, yeah, just from there, I always made music in the background, but I think when I was sort of involved in the scene doing design work, no one really knew that I made tunes, so I thought they weren't, good enough to show people, whatever. But I think, just after time, I just started trying to make a few bits and bobs after hearing stuff on Rinse FM and sort of meeting a lot of people. I had the vision that, I could probably make this sort of music quite easily. Well, not easily. I don't want to say the word easily because that implies something, but I could try and make it being of a musical background. So, yeah, it literally just stemmed from that where, I was designing for people, hanging out with people, going to a lot of shows in London. And then, just from there, it just sort of naturally grew into what it is today through just a passion for the genre itself and a passion for design as well. Amazing,
man. So kind of with that then, you've spoken there about almost kind of being involved with the circles that were in and around dubstep when you first sort of kicked off. Like, how did you find that process of kind of switching from design to music? Obviously with the people around you being your peers that were obviously the people kind of heading up the scene.
Yeah, so I think it was just like, I think I met Youngster and Jay Kenzo. I mean, they were the two people that played my music first. So yeah, I met them early in maybe late 2012, 2013. So before that, I wasn't like very well versed in the genre, to be honest with you. Like, I heard a few bits and bobs, and I was like, yeah, this sounds cool, but it never really like connected with me properly at that point. This is like years before, like maybe 2007 sort of times. But I think, yeah, just sort of going to shows and experiencing the sound on a sound system obviously is like completely different, sort of listening to it at your house. And then from there, just became mates with people, hung out with them a lot. And I think, yeah, just through working with Youngster and Jay Kenzo, I think I probably sent them stuff first and showed them a few bits and bobs. And they're like, oh, nice, like, I'll finish that. So I'll try and finish it. And then I think Jay Kenzo played my tune first on Rinse FM, which was a track called Reanimation. I think it might still be lurking on my SoundCloud. But I think, yeah, from that point on, it sort of built my confidence a bit. And yeah, I just became good mates with quite a few people. So I think early on I was good friends with like Youngster, Jay Kenzo, Truth as well, especially. And I like sort of met all these people with a mate of mine called Jake Menny, who's he's sort of like, I know, he's a positive energy in the scene. He's a good friend of mine, and we used to just sit in his studio in the back of his garden, which his dad made in the 90s, where they used to make house music and stuff. And we used to just mix for hours and hours and hours, and it all just stemmed from that. And I think, yeah, like getting, releases on the XYZ label, I think for me, like, yeah, my first release in dubstep was on Tempa, which was quite interesting because, yeah, it was like, that was the label I was always like, I really want to get on there.
Yeah, I was going to say that's kind of like shooting right to the top straight away. It's like signing your first professional football contract with Manchester City at the moment. It's like crazy.
Yeah, I know, it was crazy, but I don't know, like, I think after I did that, I felt slightly deflated because obviously, I don't know, like, I was yearning to, like, work for that sort of thing, and then it happened straight away. But I think what the split for me from doing that was like, I guess, consistency. And I feel like some music I've put out, I'm not 100% happy with. Some I've put out that I'm really happy with. And I think, for me, the main thing is, like, just enjoy it as much as you can. And I try not to make music for labels or anything like that anymore. I used to do that. But I think now I'm just like, make whatever I want. If people like it and want to sign it, great. If not, I can put it out myself, or it just sits in the archives and I've learned something. So yeah, it is interesting.
Definitely, man. It's a really interesting story as well. That kind of, as you said, transition from design to production, kind of going straight in at the top, like getting stuff played on Rinse, getting stuff signed to Tempa. Like we're talking about quite legendary institutions here and projects that really have sort of shaped the course of the scene. And obviously, working with Youngster and Jay Kenzo, they're two artists that have really, really shaped dubstep as a whole. Like, do you ever kind of look at it and go, "Wow, this has been a bit of a crazy induction"?
I do, but then also, obviously, like, prior to, sort of, as I said previously, like, prior to knowing that, I wasn't really well versed on the scene itself, so I learned a lot of stuff as I was going on. But I think, in hindsight now, I think, it was like a really good opportunity that was given to me, and it was like very, very privileged to have those people support me early on. And I think, this is why I try and pay that forward. So, like, anyone that sends me music or anything like that, I try and listen to everything. And some people ask for advice and stuff. Other people just like to have a chat. And I always think, I was the same person as that, like, sort of 7 years ago, whatever. And I think, I try and make sure that I give time to everyone in the same sense that people gave time to me. But I think the main thing that I think sort of helps progress is building relationships with people. I literally just become mates with them, hang out with them, crack jokes with them, all that sort of stuff. And I think from there, like, the positive energy will flow and you'll naturally just find your place without sort of thinking about it. Like, when I look back and think about, I released in Tempa and Century and Article as well and a few others, I think, oh, wow, like, it doesn't even feel like I've done that.
Yeah, no. Honest. And something I was going to say as well is obviously when we kind of follow artists such as yourself, I see you so active on the Insta story, kind of in and around sort of dubstep people. You always seem to be in and around people or at houses or just out and around with people. And that must it must make you really feel part of something.
Yeah, I think so. I agree. I definitely feel part of something. But again, like, I'm just like good mates with people. Like, I'm good mates with Pokes. Like, me and him had a connection where he's like a big brother I never had, sort of thing. Like, we both love 80s music, 80s films, a bit of 80s music. Have similar interests. Like, similar with N-Type as well. He's like the world's nicest guy, and I think, just like through time and like knowing people, it's just become mates with them. And I think, I guess I do hang around with a lot of people in the scene. But it's only because they're my friends as well.
Yeah, that's the thing.
We do music together too, as a byproduct of being mates, you know what I mean? So, it all works that way.
Definitely, man. I think there's definitely a mentality within the scene as well, where if you're interested in similar things, if you have a similar kind of outlook on things, the odds are you're going to be friends with people in a similar scene. It just makes sense, and it makes things just a whole lot easier, because people prefer working with friends, people prefer working in and around music, in and around the music industry when people know each other, and that's definitely something I've experienced as well. We're moving forward now. It's just gone 14 minutes past 9 here. What we're going to do is get into one of the tracks that you did send over for today's listing. This one goes by the name of Eagle Eye. So talk to me about this one and why it's in today's listing.
So I'd probably say Eagle Eye is one of my favourite releases I've done myself. I think when I sort of listen to it, it's sort of being a man of Indian descent, like, it sort of is a definite homage to that. I think what I wanted to do with that tune was, like, it's what I'm doing at the moment, and it's the same thing I did with Great Blind Ricky, is how can I make it sound as hip-hop as possible at 140? And I think, I've made, like, sort of the deeper stuff and all the, other bits and bobs. I think that is the sound that I like going for. And I think Eagle Eye itself, like, whenever I play it out, it always gets a nice reaction. I think it's just an energetic track, and, it sort of follows my heritage. And I think when I made it, it was a difficult track to make. I learned a lot from making it, and I think, it was the reason that I put it on the list. It's a personal favourite of mine in regards to my own music, which is rare because, I don't particularly like my music too much.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
I mean, that's like a standard thing with producers, isn't it? Nobody likes stuff they make. That's just part of the process. It's part of the program. So right, we're going to get into this one now. Then this one goes by the name of Eagle Eye. We are live on Trickstar Radio right about now. Out to all the locked in crew each and every time. We are on the line with Cimm. Oh yes.
With CubCamTV.
Trickstar Radio.